My Christmas Tree is Growing New Roots by Theo, Plesha. I know I might get into trouble if I talk about this, but you have to know about what's out there and what happened to my family this last Christmas. See, it was the first family Christmas we had in 3 years. Maybe we all should have seen what Uncle Lang was going to bring home. He had gotten out of prison in June, doing some light time for a ham-fisted attempt at check fraud. He was all the talk of the family, and whether or not he would be invited to the legendary Valentine family Christmas celebration this year. I think it was on the Monroe side of the family, declaring during the Monroe family Thanksgiving celebration that tipped the scales. They threatened to not come to the Valentine family Christmas if Lang was going to be in attendance. My old man, ever the old softy for his brother, always looking to annoy his mother-in-law, naturally extended the invitation to his brother Lang that evening. My father's decision was controversial, and some gentle prodding from my mother forced my father to slightly revise the invitation. Uncle Lang could attend if he would bring the family Christmas tree. That deal was accepted by all parties. Monroe's anticipated that there was no way Lang would make good on that promise, and even if he still showed up, they would have something to badger the ex-con about that no one would defend. Lang, on the other hand, seemed all too delighted to bring the tree. In fact, he said he would try to bring it early, to give us more time to decorate. He said this while simultaneously indicating he would be arriving in a day or two and spend the few days here before Christmas because his living arrangements with his girlfriend had fallen through. Now, I love my uncle. Of all the Valentines and the Monroes, I feel like he had been the nicest to me around the holidays, while everyone else took the opportunity to comment on me for what I was doing or not doing with my life, looking at me like I was clay, but not something to mold, but rather something to fire in a kiln. Uncle Lang, by contrast, just wanted to know how I was doing. And when the subject of what I'm doing came up, he always sounded impressed. I guess that's good and all, but I couldn't help but feel that if not for him coming after Christmas, I would spend another holiday as the family's substitute outcast, substitute black sheep. In a way, we were opposite kindred spirits. I was the first in the family to attend a 4-year school, and he was the first in the family to spend more than 4 minutes in jail. Anyway, much to everyone's surprise, including my own, not only did Lang show up when he said he was going to, he also made good on bringing a full-size Christmas tree, albeit precariously strapped to the top of his car. We took it down, expecting it to pull to shreds because it was not properly wrapped and tied down with just rope and electrical and bungee cords. As we lifted it off and set it right side up, we were all shocked. It was not just any Christmas tree. Despite the method it was transported, it was the most stunning live Christmas tree any of us had ever seen. It was just short of 7 feet tall, very full and symmetrical. It smelled of the freshest, piniest, cheeriest sap, and somehow Lang pulled off a masterful cut. It fit perfectly into the spinning Christmas tree stand. We put on some of the Special Olympics' very special Christmas albums and decorated the tree with lights and ornaments. It was a very memorable, very heartwarming experience. Like old times as my little brother, myself, Mom and Dad, and Uncle Lang all pitched in. The day finished with us relaxing in the living room, basking in the multicolored lights of the turning tree, sipping a drink made of champagne and cranberry juice, listening to Gene Autry. Mom and Dad got a little tipsy, and they made their way to bed after feasting on the remainder of the pizza we ordered earlier in the day. I, being the degenerate college student, was more adept at drinking than the parents. Lang went to make his bed in the guest room a while ago. It was just me and the tree. Maybe I was a little more drunk than I remembered because I watched Lights inside the glass star blink off one by one. Since I barely broke 5 feet, when I approached the tree to investigate, all I could assume was that the fuse on the decoration had blown in an unusual way, and that it would be an easy fix in the morning when the taller folks in the house were awake. I turned around to finish the last of the champagne in the bottle when I was startled by Uncle Lang, standing quiet in the middle of the room. He approached me with an out-of-character intensity in his eyes, and he started to ask me a bunch of questions.
So, how's the science thing going?
I think I told him the degrees I was working on many times, but they never stuck, so I didn't bother haranguing him in any meaningful way.
It's going good.
Hey, are you going to finish that?
Well, I thought you said because of your probate.
He chugged the rest of the bottle before I could finish. He wiped the dribble from his lips, and then turned his eyes back on mine.
Hey, look. What if I told you I saw a place a meteor landed? Would you want to go check it out?
I'm pretty sure no meteors have crashed around here. I'm pretty sure we'd all have heard about it, like it'd be in the news, even if it were a small one.
Yeah, but hey, look. I saw something crash into these woods. Not that far from here. I want you to come check it out with me. You're the only one who is interested in this stuff.
I couldn't believe I thought about it. Probably because I was getting a little more lit up than anything. But all this sounded super shady. It was probably something he intentionally kept from Mom and Dad this whole time, and it felt like I was sneaking out of the house with an ex-con rather than a member of my family. Maybe that was a little harsh. In retrospect, I wish I would have gone then, but instead I shook it off and firmly replied no. When he insisted again, I had a hard time not sounding alarmed when I had to deflect.
Look, whatever Christmas surprise you're cooking up for Mom and Dad, I don't want to be a part of it. Sometimes I have a big mouth, and I might let something slip. Good night, Uncle Lang. It's good to have you back.
Okay, you're missing out.
I went to sleep. I can tell you why, but you already know. I locked the door to my bedroom that night. The next morning, I woke up to Mom and Dad groaning from their hangovers, arguing about who was going to take my little brother Philip to his ice skating lesson that day. Alongside them, flying under the radar for the moment, was the equally exhausted and beat-down Uncle Lang, who sat quietly pounding orange juice and chomping down on the rest of the bacon.
Eliza! Clean this up, will you? Earn your keep. I'm gonna go take a shower. Carl, you're gonna drop off Philip. We'll have like 6 hours before the Monroes show up, and I want this place clean.
What's for dinner with Grandma and Grandpa?
Pizza!
Dad didn't protest as he rubbed his head and made his way to the medicine cabinet. I didn't say anything either as I got to work cleaning up the kitchen. I grabbed Philip's plate and found the bottom booby-trapped with maple syrup. Philip, who was 10 years old, mind you, popped in and laughed at me.
Haha, I got you!
Before he retreated out of the room. I felt like tossing the plates into the sink and just smashing them there. After I cleaned off my hands and went for the paper towels, Uncle Lang stepped in my way.
Oh, God! You scared the crap out of me!
Oh, geez. I'm sorry. Why? Sorry, but look at this.
Uncle Lang held up the newspaper, folded to a particular page. He tapped on a small story on the 5th page of the main section. He practically pressed it into my face until I paid attention. It was a story about a large meteor sighting over Milwaukee a couple days ago.
Okay.
I mean, I told you so.
Well, do you want to go there now?
I called his bluff. As a training astronomer and an aspiring astrobiologist, I guess I was interested in either 1, disproving him, or 2, actually investigating a crash site.
I went back there last night.
And?
You're not going to believe me. You should have come with.
What wouldn't I believe?
I don't know. No one believes me about anything. I guess I'm getting used to it.
Okay, I mean, I guess I can't stop you from thinking that.
See? You don't even believe me being used to not being believed, so...
I'm not doing this, Uncle Lang. What did you see there?
It's gone.
Well, of course it's gone. Most people who see them think they land and then they're just seeing an illusion.
No. I mean, the whole damn forest where it crashed is gone.
I was speechless. I didn't know what to think. And that's when Mom started yelling from the living room.
Carl! There's something wrong with the Christmas tree stand, Carl!
Dad crept out of the bathroom next to the kitchen and shambled into the living room.
What's wrong?
The tree won't move!
Mom complained as she flipped the switch on and off, and on and off, and on and off again on the tree stand.
Stop that. Turn off, please.
I could hear Dad rustling with the branches. I listened intently and looked up towards Uncle Lang. He too was listening intently to them.
Hey, what's this?
Eliza! Eliza, come here, please! Eliza, check this out! What is that? What's going on with the tree?
Goddamn son of a bitch cheap Christmas crap. Right before the goddamn holiday. Right before the rest of the damn family shows up.
Mom was down on all fours with her head well into the Christmas tree. I went down on my hands and knees too, to see whatever she was seeing. In the glare of the bright lights, I could make out the impossible. It was roots. Fresh roots growing out of the tree, clinging to the spinning stand, preventing the motor from turning the tree. I was really shocked. There was no way a dead tree would regrow roots, much less one strong enough to stop this motor. Especially not within 18 hours. This was a real scientific anomaly.
Is this normal, Eliza?
I wasn't a botanist or a biologist or anything, but, I guess it was just because it was me and it was there at that time, and I wanted to tell her no, but instead I had to tell her,
It's very rare.
Well, we bought a spinning Christmas tree. Pull them away so I can see it spin.
I'll watch you spin.
Yeah, I'll help Dad with this.
What?
I said I'll get some shears from the garage.
I'll get some scissors from the kitchen.
They both split off to the different parts of the house. It was just me and Lang there now.
I told you. It was gone. The trees were all hauled away and the whole area excavated. I'm talking hundreds of trees, most of them bigger than this one. Swoop, gone. No snow on top. My hand on a stack of Bibles, Eliza.
You got the tree from there?
No. Yes. No and yes.
No, Uncle Lang, look, this is unprecedented. All right, it's really weird, and I can't help or figure out what's going on unless you tell me exactly what happened. No BS.
Where do you think I found the tree?
You took it from a place a meteor crashed.
My girlfriend kicked me out. I was basically driving around for hours, and I saw this meteor crash, and then the army showed up.
The army?
Yeah, the army. So I hid my car and watched them. They cut down all the trees in that patch of forest and left nothing around the crash site. They loaded them on big flatbed trucks. Then, when I was out there last night, they had some machine turn over all of the damn soil. Looks like nothing was there but open field now.
Well, how did you get the tree?
It fell off the back of one of their trucks.
For the first time in your life, you're probably telling the truth about finding something falling off the back of a truck.
All the hard work was done for us.
So, to recap. A meteor crashed into a forest, and you saw it, and then the army showed up, you followed them, and when one of the trees they cleared off fell off the truck, you brought that tree back here as a gift, and now they erased all the evidence of a forest. So,
do some science stuff, Eliza. Like, is that tree radioactive or something?
I recoiled, wondering what the odds were that the entire army response was a decontamination effort for a genuinely radioactive meteor strike.
oof, I don't know. I think we'd know by now if it had gamma contamination. We spent all day around it. We'd probably start getting tired or being burned. Look, a dead tree won't put down roots like that. No way. So definitely something is wrong here.
Okay. Yeah. So, what do we do?
We experiment. Let's cut them off and see what happens.
I quickly located another set of scissors from my mom's Christmas present wrapping box and dove under the tree. To my amazement, The roots were somehow thicker and longer than they were just minutes earlier. They were thick enough in total to cover almost the entire spinning stand and long enough to reach the floor. I wasn't sure I could even still cut them with the scissors, but I tried anyway. The roots were sturdy, moist, and not at all woody except for the exterior. They seemed as healthy as if the tree were still in the ground, growing and fully alive. I had never seen such a thing. And instead of trying to cut through the hardy tendrils strangling the motorized stand, I snapped a few pictures of it and did a search on my smartphone. A quick search confirmed what I already knew. A cut tree can't sprout new roots. Period. I climbed back to my feet, out of the tree, and right into Uncle Lang.
Please don't crowd me like that, Uncle Lang.
Aren't you going to cut them?
This is a scientific anomaly. There's no way I'm going to cut them. I'm going to post them online. In the meantime, do you want to take me to the site?
I told you, there's nothing left.
I still want to see it.
Do you still not believe me?
No, the problem is I do believe you, Uncle Lang.
I'll drive.
I left the dishes dirty and took off with Lang in his rusted-out truck into the gunmetal slush-covered winter day. We drove about 30 minutes to get to the location where he said he saw the Army haul away hundreds of trees and cover up a meteor crash site. He was right. They seem to have gone through a lot of trouble to disappear about 5 or 6 acres of woods that still easily appeared at the time on a Google Earth Street View. They also used snow machines, as the snow in the area was fluffier and fresher and deeper than the rest around it.
See? I'm not making this up.
Uncle Lang leaned in and put his arm on my shoulder.
Eliza, what the hell is going on?
Pull over.
I don't think so.
An Army Humvee in full winter camouflage crested a slight rise in the road and passed us. They kept driving straight at the speed limit, anxiously checking all around for any other police or military vehicles.
Where are we going?
Not sure. I'm just going to look for a place to pull over, let them clear out, and then we can think about this together.
Suddenly, a stream of military trucks, bulldozers on flatbeds, Humvees, and even armored vehicles passed by us. We drove miles out of our way, maybe 45 minutes, before turning around and plotting another route home. I tried to find dirt roads, any alternatives to simply turning around and going back through the patrolled area.
I don't think there's a good path directly back. I think we have to go to the interstate and probably bound out, then back past ourselves, then back again if we're going to totally avoid them.
Why don't we just try going back?
They know your vehicle by now. They've seen you at least 3 times. They have to be getting curious about you, and they may know they lost something. We're witnesses, you're witness, and if I'm with you, I don't think I can convince them that I didn't see what you told me about. And then there's the tree at home. They might go there.
Then we have a military SWAT team, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacationing in our living room, instead of just a weird Christmas tree.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a little paranoid, don't you think?
The Army is chasing you. The Army.
Uncle Lang rounded a tight turn shrouded by trees, and then slammed on the brakes. My phone went flying out of my hands and disappeared into a pile of receipts, losing scratch-off lottery tickets and fast food wrappers. We found ourselves face to face with a sheriff and Army checkpoint, dead ahead.
Can we back up?
Uncle Lang raised, then lowered his hand from the reverse, as his eyes pierced the rearview mirror as I heard the telltale sign of bad brakes squealing to a halt behind us.
Nope, we just have to play it cool.
I dove to reach my phone, and Uncle Lang firmly pushed me back into the seat.
That's not playing it cool. Don't go reaching for anything. Haven't you ever been pulled over before? Not like this, you haven't.
Lang suddenly became steely and cold, like he had done this 100 times, or maybe he was scared stiff they'd find a way to stuff him back into a cell before Christmas.
No quick movements, no jerks of the head. If you want to look around, side of your eyes, use the mirrors, slow turns of the head. You've got nothing to be worried about, okay?
Uncle Lang directed me with the authority of Alan Grant on the vision of T-Rexes as he slowly reached to turn the heat down so he didn't start sweating as quickly. I exhaled for the first time in what felt like 5 minutes and started very carefully peering around the checkpoint in the manner he suggested. What I found was alarming. As we were waved deeper and deeper into this corridor, the number of sheriffs, deputies, and armies swelled. Armored vehicles and machine guns created an impenetrable cage of steel and lead. There seemed to be only 2 ways through. One was straight through, after a handful of army and deputies carried out some kind of verbal and visual inspection. And the alternative? That appeared to be a turnoff, hidden by some tall, tan military vehicles and dead brown shrubs. But as my stare froze, I caught glimpses of men in yellow and orange hazmat suits. Something was very wrong. Something was very, very wrong, and I started to become extremely anxious about what was going on back at home, especially since the Monroes were expected to arrive later today. The car ahead of us was directed into the left shoulder, while a deputy with a yellow flag directed us to the right shoulder. A tall, thin, clean-shaven soldier, with a face carved by the shadow of his hat and wraparound sunglasses, approached Lang's side with a shorter, wider deputy with an intense mustache, Super Trooper-sized reflective aviators, and the gait of the prospector from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer approached my side. What little they shared in common appearance, they made the singular roll-down-your-window hand gesture as they pressed their bodies to the car.
Good morning,
The deputy said, folding his arms on the window frame, his face less than a half-foot away from mine.
Good afternoon.
The soldier said, standing stiff, arms behind his back, with his face outside, peering down at Lang.
No, you're right. I've been on autopilot all afternoon with that. I guess I need more hot chocolate.
In that moment of levity, the deputy waved an instrument through the window frame and back out. If you blinked, you could have missed it. It was subtle, but not subtle enough.
Is that some kind of new breathalyzer, officer? I did not consent to a test or a search.
Nope. I'm not sure what you mean.
Was that a Geiger counter?
Geiger counter? That's funny. Sarge, you know anything about a Geiger counter or breathalyzer?
I do not know anything about a Geiger counter.
See? I am, however, a good ginger counter. Definitely one. And I'm guessing you're half ginger. Maybe you dye your hair a bit? Those jeans peeking through like orange sunshine through those dark clouds, eh? Am I right?
How could you assume we're related?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Hey, Sarge, you think they're related? Is there a way we can find out for sure?
Do you have your identification on you? One hand per person in the pockets. Other hand where the deputy can see it, please.
She's my niece, so you know. If we can try to speed up these 20 questions, we're just doing some last-minute Christmas shopping. So what's all this about anyway? You're not doing seatbelt checks or sobriety, so what's the story?
Out-of-town ginger boy wants a story. Sarge, should we give them a story?
Stories are your jurisdiction, deputy.
Turns out a guy a little ways back, closer to where you live, miss, brought some wrong kind of fertilizer, contaminated with God knows what, and we're just checking to see maybe either of you could come in contact with anything that you know might make the holiday less jolly for you.
Are you transporting any fresh fruit, vegetables, or dairy products? Plants or trees, perhaps?
Trees?
I was just getting to that part, Sarge.
What is this? Customs? Is this the border, Sarge?
Everywhere is the border. County border in this case, sir.
Look, what my friend the Sarge here is trying to convey is that this is a unique situation, and I understand that you're like me and you just want to get on with your holiday. So you can answer our questions, or we can formally detain you, and we can turn you over to the Sarge's hazmat team to run a bunch of tests on you and your vehicle.
Cell phones.
Why do you need to see my cell phone?
It will help us see where you've been. if you've crossed any contaminated areas recently.
I left mine at home.
Mine's dead.
Look, there's an easy way to do this, and a hard way.
Oh, Christ, that is so cliche. Nothing in between?
Uncle Lang shot back, with a teeth-gritting look of regret. Breaking news, local convict lacks impulse control.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to step out of the car over here. Right now. Let's go.
Be cool.
Uncle Lang mouthed to me as he lurched his way out of the car, under the arm of the towering Sarge. Sarge stepped him far enough away from the car. I couldn't hear them talk, but close enough I could see the physical bullying Lang was enduring. I was getting angry for him, and I knew he was never good at letting this stuff go. I was absolutely terrified Uncle Lang would snap, and then the Sarge would snap his arm. And then it would be fa-la-la-la lockup.
Your uncle's in luck today because we just so happen to have one of the fastest cell phone chargers in the world, and we're going to give him a full charge. Free of charge. Well, except taxes. Now, are you sure you don't have your phone on you? Maybe in the center console, or your purse, or maybe in your small back pocket?
I'm certain I do not. Let me ask you a question.
Shoot. But not really. Go ahead with the question.
What kind of contaminant are you worried about? You know there are lots of nasty agricultural chemicals out there.
Really? Like what?
Ever hear about methyl isocyanate? It causes intense burning of the eyes, nose, throat, and lungs, and can cause vomiting for hours. It's used as a soil fumigant and an insecticide. But you're out here, no hazmat, no gloves, no gas mask.
Well, thank you for your concern, but we're looking for a very specific thing. And if we were looking for a meth cyanide stuff you just said, then we'd have a different operational posture. A posture to counter a threat. And if there were a threat, well, for the record, my friend over there, the Sarge, is very sensitive to people talking about such threats. He might consider it threatening.
Really? Not worried, huh? What about the guys I saw around the corner? Let me guess. Unrelated training exercise?
Yeah, exactly. Good guess. We should get you a game show or something.
Sir, you are more annoying than sand fleas, and I am done with your chronic bullshit. Your phone, now!
The Sarge's bark rolled over the car like thunder.
Someone needs some hot chocolate. Maybe they both do.
Okay, how about hydrazine? It's a cumulative poison. You get a little exposure testing here, a little sniff off of contaminated tires here, and then boom. I hope you like being called Deputy No-Face around the office.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm surprised by you and your uncle's lack of compliance. But that trivia knowledge might take you well into double jeopardy.
I stared down his face and realized I wasn't cut out to be as good as a deceiver nor bullshitter as my uncle. But I would have to learn fast, because I could feel the vibrating of my phone under the wrappers on my feet. The deputy's face turned from a big, fake smile to a serious glare, like a kid expecting a toy opening a present only to find a sweater.
Did you hear something, miss?
Huh?
Sounds a lot like a phone. On vibrate.
Oh, that! I think that's the heat shield rattling on something. It happens sometimes. I'm getting used to it. My uncle doesn't take good care of this truck.
I looked away from the deputy towards Lang. The Sarge handed back his cell phone, disconnecting it from a tablet of some kind, and then after some words I couldn't hear, Uncle Lang threw his head back, lifted one boot at a time as the Sarge wiped some kind of stick on the soles of his boots before putting the stick inside of a plastic bag. The Sarge puffed his chest up, and Lang took half a stumble back as the Sarge pointed him back towards the car.
Well, I'm delighted to tell you that I won't have to examine you after all. Enjoy your last-minute shopping. We have a lot of checkpoints up and around the county, so take this. It's a gift, and we'll also let you through any other checkpoint faster than this nonsense. But hey, tell that uncle of yours to mind himself. We know he's on probation still, and we'd much rather have him with you than spending the holidays out here alone.
You are free to go. Happy holidays.
What did you say to the soldier that pissed him off so much?
Asked him if Die Hard was a Christmas movie. Tell me, what the hell is that?
I don't know. He just said if we pop this up on the dash, we'd get through the next checkpoint faster.
The next one? Great. Just great.
What did they do with your phone?
I don't know. My phone is old. It doesn't have precise GPS. It just pings between the towers. And I think they were looking for that until I saw the tablet's reflection in his stupid-ass sunglasses like a bad poker player. I think he was looking through my images, through the photos on my phone, like he was running some kind of AI thing, looking for pictures of trees.
You didn't take any pictures of the tree, did you?
Of course not. I'm not that stupid to... Wait, did you? Did they get your phone?
No, I dropped it, remember? But then it started vibrating and I lied that it was a loose heat shield.
You really do take from the dark side of the Valentines.
Look, they're definitely looking for our tree. Laying in with a Geiger counter and hazmat. We could be in real trouble. We got to get to Mom and Dad and Philip out of the house and the Monroes before they... The Monroes are going to be late. They're also stopped at a checkpoint on the other side of the county. This is like a soft quarantine.
What do you think it could be?
Maybe a satellite crash with some kind of nuclear battery or some other contaminant like hydrazine. Even a small nuclear power cell could contaminate the whole forest, with plutonium even. I mean, I know we haven't shown any symptoms, but exposure time might be running up for Mom, Dad, and Philip. God, every hour they're there, it's like chopping a future Christmas off their lifespan.
We've got to get rid of that tree. I know. God damn it! I ruined everything.
Why couldn't have you just bought a regular tree? I mean, in your situation, why did you leave anything to chance? I mean, you saw the trucks, right?
I had the best intentions. You know that, right? Even the check thing, you know, those goddamn food stamps don't buy diapers. The girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, it was bad luck I got busted.
It's bad luck you drag a tree in with poison for Christmas? Dad went on a limb for you, not to be punny about it.
I know he did. He's a good man, a good brother.
Miles passed, but my mind raged in silence.
You don't get to choose your family.
You get to choose to hang out with them or not.
So what you're saying is that because my association with bad luck, total bad chance that I get to be tossed to the curb? I say that's bullshit, and I say that's not because of me, but because of you.
Why me? Do you know what acute radiation poisoning does to you?
No. This has nothing to do with radiation poisoning. This has to do with reputation poisoning. When we get back there and everyone is like, what? Their skin is sunburned or something, who are they going to see with me? You, and then just like that, if there's a Christmas next year, you're lumped in with me. Okay, now you're out too, just like me, just because you're associated with me. I mean, Jesus. You ever have your favorite food and then get the stomach flu, and then you never want your favorite food again, but it has nothing to do with your favorite food? Huh? Then you miss out on your favorite food for the rest of your life, for no good reason. I expected better from you, Eliza. Thought you were smarter than that. I know I'm a dumbass, but hey, you're the first one in the family going for their 4-year.
We were circling the county on back roads, whipping around at 80 or so, trying to get home. We were definitely terrified. I was going back and forth in my head about what he said about family and about unfair associations. I wanted to begin the discussion about how to get rid of the tree in the house, but I couldn't break the silence. Nothing in my head developed into a full-blown plan to get it out and replace it as soon as possible. I did have something to say to Uncle Eng, though.
Thanks for keeping me cool and keeping cool at the checkpoint.
I try my best. Like I said, we're family and I really do want the best for you.
While my worries about Uncle Eng were lifted, my fears and paranoia about the tree came down a full-blown blizzard as we pulled up to the house. That's when we noticed the house lights and the Christmas lights were blacked out. But our neighbors had power. I was flustered as I opened the door to find the family in complete frenzy.
You put too many damn lights on this thing.
Okay, well, next year you do it.
Mom clutched wine and candy canes while Dad had his head halfway into the tree. To my relief, Mom nor Dad were covered in radiation burns, despite being tangled in lights and tree needles. I had no idea what was going on with this tree, so I offered to help them by doing the only sane thing as they argued. I told them I would unplug the tree from the wall, and then ask my dad to try the breakers again. Then I got it from both of them, almost simultaneously.
The breakers are all on.
The tree is already unplugged.
To Uncle Lang and mine's amazement, we both discovered a very well-lit tree. The lights were brighter than ever and pulsating slightly. The entire room had a hum like a Tesla coil about to discharge. I dove under the canopy of needles, bark, and glass and found the roots had become so thick as doorknobs. They encrusted the entire stand and driven themselves into the wood floor as if it were soil. 3 of the roots anchored themselves into the floor while a 4th had extended into the wall and had drilled into the plaster beneath the outlet. I smelt the acrid scent of ozone falling from somewhere on that tree. I held my ear to the floor to confirm that I was hearing running water from the pipes somewhere towards the tree itself.
Eliza, can you please explain what the hell is going on with this damn tree?
Yeah, what did your father do?
Both of you shut up for 10 seconds, please!
I turned on my back and looked through the branches along the trunk of the tree. I found blotches and patches of lightly glowing iridescence smeared on the trunk. It looked a lot like lichen, but I'd never seen or heard of iridescent lichen before. I was in the midst of crawling out to get a sample of it when I brushed against a branch and I saw an ornament tumble from a mid-level. I instinctively reached up to try to grab it, but all I did was manage to knock it off the branch, and it fell all the way to the floor. The red, globular glass ornament hit the floor and detonated with the force of a hand grenade, sending wood and glass shrapnel in all directions, including into my hand, my arm, and part of my face. I was rendered nearly deaf from the ringing in my ears, and I felt like a human pincushion from all the shards and splinters embedded in me. Dad yanked me by my feet out from under the tree. I could see all of them shouting at me, but I couldn't hear them. I felt sick as I tried to stand, so I stumbled over to the couch and sat with the wet warmth of a dozen lightly bleeding wounds. After a few moments, I got my bearings to lift my head and face without the vertigo. My mom and dad were trying to tend to my injuries. Warm blood trickled into my left eye. I saw my dad had blood pinpricks soaking through his shredded pants. Uncle Lang was braced behind the threshold of the room with his fingers scraping out his ears. I could just barely see where the ornament hit the floor. There were no scorch marks or carbon. There was no smell of smoke or smoke at all. I started to think, what could have been in that glass ornament to make it explode? Only one answer came to my mind. Hydrogen. Highly explosive, pure hydrogen gas. Somehow, all the ornaments were being filled up with hydrogen. As my ears and brain came back into focus, I turned my attention to the star on the top of the tree. It suddenly lit up, only at the very top. Then the top, the middle, the bottom, the whole tree turned on all of its lights. A strong, static surge and scent of burnt plastic and metal filled the air. It was like the house was hit by a direct lightning strike. The stereo cabinet was smoking with the acrid electric burning smell of ozone. I got the sense that somehow everything electrical in the house would never turn on again. Yet the tree took on this intense surging electrical glow. This glow seemed to project an aura around it. From the star point to the floor, I was mesmerized but I had to test a hypothesis. I picked up a nutcracker figurine from the table and tossed it at the tree. That static aura deflected it, and it never even came close to touching a branch. My act of aggression apparently was the last straw for it. It started to flash, all of its lights at once except for the star. The top tip of the star remained bright even as the rest of the lights, and aura flashed on and off. At first I didn't catch on, none of us did, and then finally I got it. There were 5 flashes, a break, then 4 flashes, a break, and then 3 flashes and a break, and well, that Christmas tree launched itself with a cloud of pressurized gas, and then ignited like a rocket 100 feet over our house after blasting through the ceiling. There was a rip in the floor down into the basement. I could see the washer and dryer burned. Presents were blasted alight, and pieces of furniture were tossed on their sides, broken, prepped for the burn pile. Fortunately, we were surprisingly unharmed from the liftoff. An electrical arc flashed in the wall, and running water bubbled up from the floor from the empty space the tree had left. The whole family stood and braced in awe as a light snow fell through the hole in the roof. As the wall began to creak and crack, we rushed out the front door just as the Munros pulled up, only to see the living room wall fall into the foundation. The only explanation that has come to my mind was that meteor contained some kind of space-faring, intelligent lichen that had taken root in the bark and then converted our Christmas tree into a rocket and our house utilities into a launch pad. I can only imagine what hundreds or thousands of these trees contaminated with the same organism or technology or whatever it really was might now be doing in U.S. military custody. The Army showed up fewer than 15 minutes later and swore us all to silence. Apparently they had some kind of sensor or bug implanted in that tree trinket that the deputy gave me. It's been a year, and in the name of science and all that is Uncle Lang, I am breaking this silence, and I'm telling you to avoid anything in the vicinity of a recent meteor strike, unless you too want an unpleasant surprise for Christmas. Or any holiday, for that matter. Also, for the record, if you're going to come get me, I'm writing this in my dorm room, since Uncle Lang and I have been politely uninvited from the family Christmas this year.